did.
And at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge by Councilman Asaki.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Mandy, can you call the roll, please?
Councilman Blaisdell.
Present.
Councilwoman Kirk.
President.
Councilman Froelich.
Present.
Councilman Isakson.
Present.
Supervisor Zalotnik.
Present. Okay, we'll have our opening session of public comment. The microphone is working, but I will remind you that you have to speak very, very closely to it to be heard. Anna?
Thank you. Ann Stanko, 32 Kent Street, Boston Spa, New York. I intended to get this letter into the board to possibly get on the agenda tonight, but I was too busy. On June 16th, the Women's Republican Club rented both Pavilion 1 and Pavilion 2 of the park. This is an annual picnic that we collect items for the homeless veterans in the county. When we arrived, Pavilion 1 was completely infested with the caterpillars. They were dropping from the ceiling. They were all over that pavilion, and we were unable to use it. So I'm respectfully asking that we get refunded for that one pavilion. We did use Pavilion 2, and that was fine. I have a letter for you.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that happened, Anna, but those caterpillars are just everywhere.
You know.
I have trees in my backyard that don't have any leaves on them.
Any of your unit.
Oh, sorry to hear that. No, okay, and I apologize for that, but it's nature.
I know.
They're
I know.
everywhere. Anyone else?
Yes.
I'll go back.
Holly Windows, 223 Meadowlark Drive. Actually, I'm in the midst of the helicopter maneuvers. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about tonight, I realized that I got an email from Supervisor Zlotnick that said pretty much his hands are tied. And he blamed the problem at the airport on the county, which is true, and the FAA. The FAA does not tell the county you have to increase the airport. It doesn't tell the county you have to build a terminal. And it doesn't tell the county that you have to allow helicopter classes that harass the area residents. The FAA does not approve of that. There are times when almost the entire sun in my backyard is gone because of these jerks. The trees above my house quiver with the damn motors. And at night when they have their maneuvers, they have 4 or 5 helicopters, and I'm convinced there's an accident. I run to the window and I open the curtain. And then I go, oh, that's right, it's the damn helicopters. I understand, Supervisor Zlotnick, that is not you don't have any control, but you do have a voice. And you represent not Saratoga County, but the residents of the town of Milton. And Saratoga County will, as you know, continue to tell you how freaking important this airport is. But I know that horses come into Albany, and I know that the people who play at SPAC come into Albany. This airport does not serve those people. And any business in Saratoga County that has a big jet has to fly into Albany County Airport. We need to use it. We need to make it our airport. We are not going to let Saratoga County destroy our neighborhoods just because they want to feel like big dogs. And I really wish, I understand you're at the bottom of this, but you know what? Sometimes the dog on the bottom bites. And I really wish that you would bite back. I wish you would fight for all the people who live anywhere near this damn airport. I love watching the gliders. I don't even mind the noisy planes towing the gliders. But the helicopters, I'm sorry, I'm under attack. And I'm not going to stand for it anymore.
Thank you. Mr. Landis.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
So this is Marsh, 2861 Shaw Road, Middle Grove, New York. And I just want to voice my opposition to any flag being flown with the United States of America flag. I noticed there's one flag being flown by the park and also at the town hall. And I was wondering if someone could tell me why there's another flag being flown with the American flag? And was there a vote taken on that? And it seems like it's a special interest flag. And if that's the case, why wouldn't there be other flags flown with the American flag? It should be separate. There should be no flags flown with the American flag, especially a special interest flag. So can someone on the board tell me, was there a vote and how that occurred?
No, there was no vote taken. Okay, it was a decision that I made. I was asked when I was a candidate if I would, when I won the election, if I would consider flying that flag, and I said that I would. And I've also said that when it's Breast Cancer Month, if somebody wants to give me one of those flags, we'll fly that one too. If there's an autism flag, we'll fly one of those flags too. Milton is an all-inclusive community, and we're just welcoming all our residents.
But you should have a separate flagpole for things like that, for special interest groups. Whether it's Irish American, Italian American, Black Lives Matter, because all lives matter, really. I mean, I think that's a given. I just think the American flag stands alone. It should be alone. And if you want to put another flagpole up and have your special monthly flag flying, that's fine. I just think that people should have been allowed to voice their opinion and vote on that. The American flag stands alone. Put up another flagpole and have your monthly write-ins of, you know, whether they want the Girl Scout flag flown or a rainbow flag or whatever flag, but the American flag stands alone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Learn the flag, Ed.
Mr. Landis.
Learn the etiquette of the flag.
Hello, Michael Landis, 272 Meadowlark. Three quick things. First of all, thank you for moving forward with the noise ordinance stuff. I look forward to hearing more about that tonight. That's a big deal. I want to tip my hat. You guys deserve it. Second of all, I want to clarify something from the last meeting. If you, those of you who tuned in, ended with a bit of a cliffhanger or a shocker when Supervisor Zlotnick said that the opinion of the town attorney was that the licensing issue concerning Planet was not viable. But from what I understand it, that is a non-binding opinion, that the town attorney can issue nothing personal, Jim, but you can issue opinions anything you want, but the supervisor and the town do not have to abide by those opinions. So I'm urging you to respectfully decline that opinion and to continue to examine the issue of licensing when it comes to Planet. In our report, residents have given you three outstanding reasons why the licensing is problematic. Third, I would like to see, I and my colleagues expect to see some action going forward at the next meeting, hopefully, concerning adoption of state limits. It doesn't make sense that the state and the town have two different sets of regulations when it comes to things that are overlapping, like noise and zoning and that kind of thing. So we'd like to see that moving forward. So you've got the noise thing going on. Hopefully you're keeping the licensing thing open, and we would like to see steps towards adopting state regulations. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we have a couple people on Zoom. Well, it says Anthony Licata, but we'll wait and see whose voice comes out. I'm at. I'm asking him to unmute. I'm doing it. And he's not, there you go. Okay, Mr. Licata. Tony, are you there? Tony?
Benny, I just raised my hand earlier because I couldn't hear you.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Burton?
Supervisor Zlotnick, this is David Burton, sorry.
That's okay.
Dave Burton, Sleep Report, Boston Spa. I read the article in the Times Union from Wendy before, and I want to personally thank you for your stance and your comments in that article about them wanting, Sarasota County wanting to acquire more property around the airport. I perfectly aligned with your comments and statements that you made. And I also want to let you know that I can assure you, if you do move forward and continue to have a voice for us, that there will be many people that will stand on this. And I can assure you will move for you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rossi?
Can you hear me, Mr. Supervisor?
We can, yes.
Frank Rossi Jr., 63 Saratoga Avenue, Apartment B, Milton, New York. I'm actually getting over from Chicago, Illinois tonight. I'll be listening in on the meeting, and I've got to say, concerning the Pride Flag, I'm here for an event called Pride Bowl in Chicago. It's a flag football tournament. Pride Flag is obviously something personal to me for reasons which most of you know. However, let me say this. Like I said at the last meeting about political favors or political actions for things that shouldn't be political, for you to admit, I believe when you leave a tour in the past and even in this meeting to a certain degree, that hanging the pride flag was a political favor at the end of the day, prostitutes that flag more than I can admit or want to admit. It's not proper. Either you want to hang it for the meaning of it, or you don't. But the way you've approached this is really the meaning. In addition, it should not be done at the cost of the American flag, ever. I think the village has run into this issue very recently. I think it's been talked about ad nauseum in the town of Milton that it shouldn't be, and it's still possibly happening. I don't know exactly where it is, but if it is being done at the cost of the American flag, it shouldn't be. That flag, yes, should be flown and should be held in a certain level of esteem, but it should not be placed at the same level of the American flag, because as the speaker before insinuated, though I disagree with some of her thoughts, it is above all other flags. We are all together under the American flag, be it a special interest flag or whatever. Do not place those flags above or at that level. And there's a lot of law and discussion about that. So again, it's a personal issue to me, but to hear you talk about it as a political favor at the end of the day is the meaning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. One more.
That's me. Tony, turn the volume on.
Sharon, you have to turn the volume down somewhere.
Tony, turn it on. Got it? Is that better? There it is.
There you go.
I'm sorry. Sharon Licata, 4 Ichabod Lane. I would like to reiterate what Dave Burton just said, and how happy we are to see that you were quoted in the Times Union as being with us on no expansion for the airport. I appreciate your response also to the putting the $5 million into the airport hangar there, or terminal. We don't need a terminal, and you're absolutely right. There's no connecting flights here. And I've said it before, you wanna buy a $5 cup of coffee, do it at Stewart's or Cumberland or somewhere else. Anyway, that's what I have. Oh, and I also would like to say thank you for putting up the gay pride flag. I don't think you meant it as any offense. I know that in the past you tried to represent everyone, and I think that that's admirable. So thank you for putting it up, and come October, I will bring you a pink flag for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Iaconucci.
Mike Iaconucci, 9 Russell Street. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I just feel compelled to say a couple of points regarding the pride flag. First, I do not believe the flag was flown on the same flag pole as the U.S. flag.
It is at Town Hall and at the park. There's only one flagpole there, and custom allows you to put a flag beneath the American flag,
Okay.
as long as no flag highs higher than the American flag. That is an acceptable practice.
I think everybody, virtually everybody in town, supports and respects the U.S. flag, and there's no question of that. And just to add a little bit to the discussion concerning perhaps your motivations, Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to just say publicly that I know many residents, not all, many residents supported the idea of the town taking the step of showing it was interested in inclusivity. And flying the flag was one way to do that. Many of us approached Supervisor Klotnick. I believe we also approached a couple of the council members and asked that that be done. And many of us were very pleased to see it happen. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no hands on Zoom, I will close the opening session of public comment. I inadvertently skipped over a motion to accept the minutes from the June 9th meeting, so I will entertain that motion at this time.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, John. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ryan. Any discussion? Amanda, can you pull the board, please?
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Froelich.
Yes.
Councilman Isakson.
Yes.
Supervisor Zalotnik.
Yes. Next up, motion 32, resolution 38, sorry about that. Resolution to approve purchase of a 2022 Chevy Trailblazer for the building department. Whereas the building inspector has advised the town board that due to the aging condition of building department 2008 Ford F-150, it is necessary to replace such vehicle with a new truck. Therefore, be it resolved, town supervisor is hereby authorized to expend the sum of $20,479.84 plus taxes and incidental costs in order to pay for the purchase of a 2022 Chevrolet Trailblazer from Websmart Chevrolet of Spencerport, New York, and to do all things necessary and sign all documents required in order to effectuate same. Be it further resolved, said amount is to be funded from the 2021 building department budget or as otherwise determined by the town controller, and the town comptroller is authorized to make the necessary budget transfers for such purchase. Therefore, be resolved by the town board of the town of Milton.
I have a question here, Mr. Supervisor, before we go.
I'll try to answer it, John.
Well, in Dave's email during the week, he said the destination charge was included in the vehicle. But when I look over Bob Johnson's quotation here, it has specifically listed out destination charge of $11.95, which brings that vehicle to $25,290 instead of the number we got here. I don't know which number we're actually going by, but if we looked at that $1,195, that truly is an add-on, that puts this vehicle, originally they were the low bidder by about $400.
That's correct.
If we add this on, that puts them way over.
It makes them almost the most expensive.
Correct.
Yes.
So I would not be in favor of this.
Someplace I saw it say that the destination charges were included.
And I did read that destination charges were included, so I can straighten it out with Dave tomorrow, and we can put it off for 2 weeks. But I brought that up myself, and he told me that destination charges were included. I believe that was in the email we all got too.
Well, it's in his first page here from them. It says they are included, but in fact, when I'm looking at the paperwork that they sent, it isn't included, it appears. So I think we need to straighten that out before we commit to buying a vehicle from these people.
Okay, then we'll table it for till our next meeting. We'll get that straightened out. Or can we make it conditional, Jim, if that is not included? I mean, if the freight charges are, destination charge is included, do we have to wait 2 weeks for that, or?
You pass the resolution conditioned on it being that dollar amount was in the resolution. And then if it's more, then you'd have to come back and ask for a new resolution.
I guess my question, Jim, and what I'm looking at is their actual bid that they put forth. And their actual bid was $25,000, not the $23,000. So that would have made them the most expensive. When in fact we had at least 2 bids, or 3 bids that were cheaper, 2 bids that were cheaper.
Well, everybody gave us a discount, John. I mean, everybody started around
I
25 and
understand.
change.
They all gave you discounts, and that was anywhere from 19 to 14%.
Right.
That's taken off the vehicle price. The destination charges are not discounted. So that was truly an add-on.
Okay, then we'll talk to Dave in the morning, and I'll let everybody know.
I guess what I'd like to see is the actual bid that says we're paying $23,000 for this vehicle. Because to be fair to the other 4 bidders, if in fact the bid isn't $23,000, I don't think we should be wheeling and dealing afterwards when you ask for 4 bids or ask for bids.
I'll straighten it out with Dave in the morning, and I'll let you know. It does say total price of $20,479. We'll table this, and I'll talk to him in the morning. We'll take it up at our July meeting. Or we can pass the resolution tonight, and if that's not the price, then we just don't go to that, we just don't take that bid. If there's no motion, we'll just table it for 2 weeks and when we'll get more information.
That's what I would prefer.
All right, then we'll just table it. We can still go through with the budget amendments to move things along, all right? One for the vehicle and one for something with dog control. We can skip the one for the truck, that's fine. Next up is a resolution for budget amendments, whereas the town board of the town of Milton must make budgetary amendments, and said amendments must be based upon resolutions of the town board. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of Milton does authorize the fiscal officer of the town of Milton to make amendments to the 2021 budget and process inter-budgetary transfers as follows. From VB-1990-400-000, contingency contractual, $5,650. BB 8664-200-000, code enforcement equipment and capital outlay $1,500. 2, BB-3620-200-000, safety inspection equipment and capital outlay $7,150. That would be for the truck, I believe. From AA-3510-100-000, animal control personal services $3,000, to AA-3510-200-000, animal control equipment and outlay $3,000. And that's for the dog control officer to have an upgraded system for logs, maintenance, and reporting incident information.
That's the new module?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, John.
A second.
Any discussion? Amanda, can you poll the board, please?
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Froelich.
Yes.
Councilman Isakson.
Yes.
Supervisor Willett.
Yes. Thank you. Next up, a motion allowing Denise Swalen and Christina Woodard to attend the conference on September 12th through the 15th at the Desmond in Albany. All costs to be paid for by the town of Milton, not to exceed $100 total without board approval. The current price that we were given was $40, but it wasn't included in, the registration fee is $40, but it wasn't included in the email that the judges got with information. So Denise checked up on it, and last year's fee was $40. We're going to work on the presumption that this year's fee will be somewhere in the same range. If it goes up to $50 a piece for each of them, that would be $100. If it's any more than that, we'll have to come back for board approval. I need a motion to
I'll
approve
make
that.
a motion.
Thank you, Barb. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. Any discussion? Amanda, can you poll the board, please?
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Froelich.
Yes.
Councilman Isakson.
Yes.
Supervisor Zalotnik.
Yes. Thank you. Next up is a note from our town clerk. The current town does not currently have a policy or a fee for return checks. Most towns add $20 to the fee for a return check. Since we don't have one, Brenda's asking for a little input from the board as to how we want to handle it. She did have one, she's had one already, and the building department just had one. So I think, Jim, we need to add that to our, if we wish to, we can add that to our fee schedule. We'll just take a resolution to do that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So if the board is in favor of that, then we'll ask Jim to write up a resolution for our next meeting where we can charge $20 for a bad check. Okay. Do we want Jim to write up a resolution for adding $20 fee to the fee schedule for a bounce check?
I'm in favor. I am also.
I am too.
I think it's pretty reasonable, isn't it, for high on those checks, but
Yeah, I think $20 is all right. We don't want to kill anybody. Everybody makes math mistakes. Go ahead, Jim. Okay. Apparently, I jumped around and skipped the motion to approve the purchase of the dog control module at a cost of $2,500 with a $440 annual maintenance fee. So I need a motion to approve that purchase.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Thank you, John. Any discussion? Amanda, please poll the board.
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Councilman Froelich.
Yes.
Councilman Isakson.
Yes.
Supervisor Zalotnik.
Yes. Next up is a brief discussion on the changing our email address from a .org to a .gov. There's no fee for doing this outside of our computer guy setting it up, but I think it gives us a more professional email address, and people will recognize it as coming from the town with a .gov address and possibly pay more attention to things that are going out. I think we had Milton ny.gov is an available address. Town of Milton is taken, so we can have Milton ny.gov, and there was one other one that Dave was looking into. But I think it's a good idea. You guys can make your own decision, but I think it's a good idea for us to have it.
What's it gonna cost for our IT work?
Jeff said it would probably be a couple hours work. I can get a more definite figure for our next meeting.
Let's do that.
Thank you, Frank.
For sure, I think we really need to look professional, but we need to do it right, so let's get all our ducks in a row.
Okay, moving on, will be our monthly reports. First up is the building department.
Building Department report for May 2021. Dear Supervisor and Town Board members, during the month of May, the Building Department processed 26 building permits, collected $4,556.40 in building permit fees. We completed 190 construction inspections, 10 fire safety inspections, and responded to 14 code enforcement complaints. Total of 46 permits were closed with 20 certificates of occupancy, 23 certificates of compliance, and 3 temporary COs being issued. We also collected $500 in planning fees. Pete, please find the appropriate itemized report attached.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds.
Buildings and grounds report. During the month of May, we have completed the following tasks: mowing of town property and parks, finished work in the court at Town Hall, replaced all lighting and ceiling tiles in the Town Hall court, removal of down street light, and cleaning and disinfecting of community center and court.
Highway department.
Milton Town Board, Town of Milton Highway Department June monthly report. The Highway Department's spring cleanup ended May 15th. Town residents can bring their lawn debris to the transfer station located at 503 Geyser Road. Transfer station hours are Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is closed on holiday weekends. There's no regular pickup of lawn debris until fall begins October 15th. We finished paving Burton Road and Baker Road. Going into July, we will continue roadway reconstruction and drainage repairs in Rowlands Hollow West. Respectfully submitted, Town Highway Department.
Thank you. Town historian. Take your time.
I have some show and tell tonight. Okay. First I'm going to show everyone a picture that was in the mail. This is, I'm in this picture in front of the ball when I was visiting there last month, and I was very excited about it, so I thought that was kind of nice that they sent us a nice picture.
Very nice, thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
You gotta get closer to the mic, Karen, just bend it
All right,
down to you or
okay.
something. There you go.
okay, thank you. I continue to work from home answering research requests and documenting the COVID-19 pandemic. I collect newspaper and magazine articles, which I add to daily and add daily to an electronic diary. It is sometimes, which is kind of like a timeline, which documents this event. On Monday, the 21st, Milton had no active cases of coronavirus. Actually, for the last 10 days, which is really good news. The total number of confirmed cases for the town of Milton is 1,056. The village has one active case and a total of 301 cases to date. There have not been any additional deaths over this past month, thank goodness. The Historic Structures and Places Committee met on June 8th at the Community Center. Discussion followed, focused on the West Milton Cemetery, Circle C Cemetery, and Boy Haven Cemetery. We also discussed what property to celebrate in September for our annual Heritage Award. The committee decided to do repainting of the Green Town Cemetery signs over the summer as a group. Our committee has also started work on a video that coincides with Brookside's Forgotten Crossroads program. We will be highlighting Rock City Falls, and we have set aside separate meetings to work on this. Last week, we did most of the videotaping in Rock City Falls, and I have been doing lots of research on many of the people and places in the heyday of the mills. We will be starting voiceovers very soon as narration for the video segments. Our next meeting for the video is on July 13th here at the Community Center at 6:30. Anyone interested in helping out with the project, please contact me. Our next regular meeting for Historic Structures and Places as the regular committee is planned for July 7th here at the Community Center at 6:30. Anyone interested in local history is more than welcome to attend. This past week, I was presented with a copy of Ann Hofrick's new book called Reimagine Ballston Spa, which documents the COVID-19 pandemic in Ballston Spa. It's a wonderful piece of documentation of how our community responded, and it can be purchased at Brookside, the public library, Ballston Spa Public Library, and O'Brien's Pharmacy. Copies have also been donated to all the local libraries and to my office and all the town, and probably the town of Ballston historian too. It's a wonderful book, so when we get back into the town hall, anyone's more than welcome to come look at it, or you can buy it. It's a huge book, very heavy, and it shows lots of people that you know throughout this book. Oh, that's really good to me. Anyway, things about the schools, things about, actually there's a little bit about the 1918 pandemic. And there's lots of masks in here. The food distribution that went on during the time, how the churches responded to all of this. It's a wonderful book. It took me more than an hour to sit and look at it. And there's a second book that's planned in the fall, which I have heard rumored that I'm going to be in it. So anyway, as I said, it's a wonderful compilation of what went on. And this was my dream to do, but she beat me to it. She beat me to it. But I was documenting different things. And she was documenting, how things closed, the way it was versus what happened. And it's a really good compilation. So you're welcome to come see me and come see it. So anyway, okay. Saratoga County History Center, Brookside, will be having its grand opening this Saturday. There's 3 new exhibits. One of them is called A Century of Ice Cream, which is about the Dake family and Stewarts. One's about the country stores in Saratoga County and mystery photographs of Eastern Saratoga. The summer hours will be on Thursdays 1 to 6, Friday, Saturday, Sunday 1 to 5. And they will also continue to be posting virtual programs on their YouTube channel there. So check them out. And also, if you're interested, or if your kids are interested, there is Sheep to Shawl on Sunday from 12 to 4, I think. So that's always a real big, everybody loves Sheep to Shawl. So anyway.
Except the sheep,
Yeah, except the sheep. Well, it might get a little cooler.
They
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, respectfully submitted, Karen Stoddard.
Thank you, Karen. Amanda, town clerk?
All right, town clerk registrar report. There are 5 marriages, 7 certified marriage certificates, 25 certified death certificates, 5 FOIL in search of records requests, 165 dog licenses, 18 hunting and fishing licenses, and 10 pavilion rentals. Total brought in was $4,985.95. The town share is $4,255.89.
Thank you. Town justices.
Town justice. Milton, town clerk, charge, volume, summary for judges Brown and for Crony for the month of May. 50 charges, 50 received, and also charges disposed, 400, need new glasses, 140. Total money collected and received by the state comptroller for the month of May was $8,302.08.
Thank you, Frank. Planning and zoning board report for their liaison.
The zoning board had just really one issue they looked at last month, and that was an area variance for Murray Road Solar Phase 2, that public hearing, and I think that was closed and approved. The planning board had a public hearing for a minor subdivision on Galloway Road. The public hearing was still open for the Solar Phase 2 on Murray Road, and that still remains open. There were quite a few questions, and probably the biggest issue that's come up is the escrow account for the removal of the solar after 15 years. Continuation also on the Ostro solar site plan on Route 29, and then they had a minor subdivision presented for 329 Atomic Project Road, and that was just starting through its phases, so I think next month they'll have a public hearing for that.
Thank you, John. Does anybody have anything under old business?
Old business or new business?
Oh, either way you want to look at it.
I'm not sure if it's old or no. I did receive a proposal from the engineering company, and we're down to 1 unless I want to go out of state, and I prefer to keep it here. And I just received it this afternoon, got it over to Jim to review. So I've given everyone a copy of it. I'm not going to ask anybody to vote on this tonight for the noise ordinances. The reason being, I don't want to be hypocritical because I don't like it put in front of me, last minute. But also Jim recommended that I contact the company and add to the scope any of the, once the readings are taken, any of the recommendations for eliminating some of the noise or keeping it away from the neighbors. So I will do that first thing tomorrow, but hopefully we can vote on it at our next meeting. They also said, they said they use an outside firm for the vibrations, and the quote came back quite a bit higher than they expected. So get through this first, and then if we feel we have to move on, go into the next phase of it. I can give you what they proposed. The total sum for this was $4,000, which I didn't think was outrageous. So we'll bring this to some conclusion at our next meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I guess a couple of things. Can we go back to this vehicle thing? Had we been given all these paperwork before tonight, it looks like the 19% is off the 25,290. That brings it down here. They say to 20,479. My calculator here says it should be 20,485. I'm not going to argue about $4. So I guess I would be in favor of purchasing this vehicle.
Well, like I said, I'll check with Dave in the morning about the destination fee, and I'll let everybody know.
The other thing, when we look at old business every month, we don't really have anything listed there. And I think going forward, we ought to keep the topics that are truly old business on our agenda, such as planet, rate review. All those things kind of give us a reminder every meeting that we still have these projects going, and lets the public know that we're still working on these projects.
Okay, we can talk to Brenda about leaving them on there, or, including them. That's a good idea, John. Anything else?
I have a question. Have we heard from MJ with the draft construction documents?
We were supposed to have that today, so I gave
Today
him.
is the due date.
Yep, I gave him to the end of the day. I'll call him first thing in the morning.
We didn't receive anything?
No, we did not.
I can't tell, I couldn't get into my email today, so.
I didn't have anything from him all day, so.
Because that puts us off again.
I'm aware.
Puts us
I'll call
behind
him
again.
first thing in the morning.
I guess I have one question, Mr. Supervisor. I feel like in the last month I've been cut out of everything that you and I have been working on, and I guess I'd like to know why.
I'm not sure I know what you mean, John.
Well, you had a meeting with MJ and other people about the IT, which I was never informed about. The original Community Emergency Corps, I brought that project to this town, and you and I were working on that. And you persist to have meetings with the Emergency Corps, which I've never notified about.
I've had a couple conversations with Ray. I wouldn't really call them, meetings. Jim and I had a brief discussion with it. I'm sorry, John, I didn't think I was cutting you out. I'll make a better attempt to include you in it. It was unintentional. I apologize if that's the way you feel. I just, I guess I didn't think about it that way. I'm sorry.
And lastly, or not lastly, actually I have two more things. Concerning the airport, I think the town should draft a letter from all of us stating our objection to them buying property around the airport. I think that carries more weight than just the supervisor going down there and saying it. I think the one thing that we're truly missing, if they in fact buy the 23 acres, which was stated to be a housing development, with I think about 13 homes in it, they're taking, instead of just those 23 acres, they're taking $4 million worth of assessed valuation off the table for this town. I think our town is pretty tired of carrying the majority of non-taxable property for the county. I don't think we need to keep adding to it.
I had that conversation with the Department of Public Works last week, and I said, you're considering or talking about buying these 20 acres, and we have the chance to put up, millions of dollars in assessed value. There's got to be something in it for the town. More than just, we're going to put a couple trails in there so you can walk your dogs and, watch the flowers grow. And they said that the whole thing was under consideration and all options were, on the table. So I don't even know what, you know, what they're talking about buying or not buying, John, but I agree with you. And I've already stated that fact at the county, that we have to, if they're gonna take 23 acres of land off our tax rolls, we have to get more than, you know, $5,000 or $10,000 out of this. Much more than that.
Well, I would assume we're getting nothing out of it. Right. I mean, if you're buying that property, they're dealing with the homeowner, they aren't dealing with the town of Milton.
No, they're not, but like I said, there's gotta be some, we have to get something. I've already expressed that at a couple of meetings at the county level, that we need to get something out of it.
The thing we need to point out to the county is when you look at what makes money for the airport, that's fuel sales and sales tax. If you actually factor it all out to the amount of money that the county receives and how it breaks up through each town in the county, we get very little. So it isn't a big plus for us. And I do think we also ought to send a letter to the county and to the Stratton Air Force Base stating our objections with the helicopters. I've lived around the airport my whole life, and I can tell you, they bother me.
And there seems to be more than there was even a few years ago.
And I think it's time that we started standing up and saying, hey, you know, you're a guest in our town.
I think that goes for all the county property, John.
No,
We have a huge amount of county property, and we get nothing, really nothing in return for it, and I think that's all got to be looked at. But I agree with the letter, I think that's a great idea.
My final thing is that a year ago when we talked about the pride flags and things, I offered up a solution to the pride flags that we, Saratoga Sign Pros, would donate 10 brackets to be mounted on the street light posts, similar to the ones you have in Boston Spa. And you could put up banners showing pride for all groups and through the year. And it never kind of went anyplace. I still have the 10 sets of brackets sitting in my shop. So.
You too?
Yeah. I'm not the one putting them up.
Graduates and everything, we could, you know,
Absolutely.
look on those. I didn't realize you had those.
Okay, Ellie, do you want to take a couple minutes with your sidewalk thing?
I'm going to quickly pass out this three-page thing. I just want to know.
You got to step up to the microphone, Ellie, so
Oh,
everybody else
that
can hear.
too. This is from the CDTC, and I know there's a lot of grants out there, and there's a lot of things that you're already into, which you are going to address later, I'm sure. But, hello?
There you go.
I just want to know if there's any interest in the board for me to pursue this grant through the CDTC, because it has to have a letter of commitment from the town. And it's basically a sidewalk linkage project that Brenda put me on and got me interested in. And I just want you to look over it. It's 3 pages. The one is the commitment that the town has to do, which is a 25% in-kind commitment. The second page is a sample of the letter to the CDTC for showing that the town will commit the 25% in-kind donation or work, whatever, how you want to work it. And the third page is where I would think that sidewalk linkages would improve our town. And, you know, I just don't want to put a lot of time into this because it's Zoom meetings and meeting with people and, you know, at each step. And if there's no interest, I won't pursue it. But
On Rollins Street, Ellie, how far down are we talking?
okay, we're tentatively talking about from
the corner, from the intersection.
From the intersection,
South.
down to the Boston Spa National Bank. And the park, yeah. And on the other side to, it's slipped my mind right now, what's the road that goes in the development?
Deer Run?
Deer Run?
Deer Run.
Okay.
on the other side.
Mhm.
And then there was also talk about maybe bringing it down to Stone Church. Was that, Benny, what you talked about?
Yeah, the county said they would be interested in taking the bike path that stops now at the city limit, Saratoga city limit, that they just spent, time and effort on. And then perhaps looking at it in front of, or past, John, you have sidewalks to the firehouse, right?
Correct.
And then so along from the firehouse up to Stone Church Road. That wouldn't be concrete, it would be more of a paved kind of
I guess
4
my-
to 6 foot path.
My question is, are some of these businesses obligated to put sidewalks in like Rollins Street?
Brown Street South, you have Brown Street Garage.
They're committed.
They're committed to doing sidewalks. And on the other side, the NAPA store.
It's gonna be
Lead
committed.
to has sidewalks, they're
Right.
committed.
This is basically a linkage of all these.
Right, where we have blanks, but those are in.
Right.
Those are in the planning and any approvals, am I correct?
Yes.
Planning board approvals, those
So it would
sidewalks
be
had to.
redundant to pursue that part.
They had to go in, the
Yeah.
business had to pay for those.
I guess,
So my question is,
My
should I still snoop around on this and go to the Zooms and talk to, because I just received an email today that now is the time for us to get involved. They reached out to me.
Also, the bicycle thing, Benny, where are we gonna put it? There's no place, with our town center, with the curbing and everything, there's no place to put it, and I know we don't want bicycles on our sidewalk, so how is that gonna fit into our town center?
Well, the DPW wasn't so concerned with how it got used. They're just looking to put some way for the residents who live down Stone Church Road to get to town center if they choose
I know,
to.
yeah, Stone Church, I'm talking towards Saratoga, because that's where the Saratoga trail ends, right at the.
Right at the Chester.
That's where our sidewalks begin.
Right.
But we don't have room for a bike path, and we don't allow bicycles on our sidewalks.
So how
I don't know, I
does
think-
that link back to this?
I'm not
Is that
totally
a
against
separate
this.
issue?
It's a
Or-
good
That's
idea.
a different issue, yes.
It's a good idea, but I think we've got to look at those, and John, you were on the planning board, so was Benny, when we have those commitments as part of the approvals.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think this obligates us if we give a letter of commitment that we would, to the project. If you look at the sample letter, it says we support the application. We're not committing ourselves to something that we can't get out of.
my biggest question
Yeah.
is who's going to maintain these sidewalks?
Exactly. That's what you need to decide. Is this, that's
You know,
exactly.
Before I can get, Ellie, before I can get excited about
Oh, I'm-
putting in
I
sidewalks,
understand, yeah,
we're looking at probably better than 1,000 feet of sidewalk.
absolutely.
And we got a maintenance crew right now that is right flat out trying to keep up with the properties we have now.
Right. So
Sidewalks are a great idea.
Yeah, are you leaning towards postponing?
I am.
Okay.
But
Because I
this
need
is
to
just
know,
a
because
very-
it's a lot of time, and I don't want to get involved
I
if
understand.
it isn't what the town wants right now. So
Can we take 24 to 48 hours?
you can
and-
take, it's, literally, if they say they're accepting the applications on a rolling basis through December.
Okay.
So we have plenty of time to think about it and decide whether John's point is so valid.
Well, we discussed that earlier, that,
Yeah.
it's great to put the sidewalks in, but somebody has to
Yeah,
maintain them.
yep. And do we want that? Do we want walkability in our center? That's another issue. But let me know, and I'll go forward or not. It's all good. Okay,
Thank you, Ellen.
thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're just about ready to wrap up, so again, we'll have our ending public comment session, if anybody would like to speak. Mr. Landis.
Michael Landis, 272 Meadowlark. I just want to say, John Froelich, I love your ideas. I think it's a great idea to put more information on the agenda. I always think that they're not worth the paper they're printed on because they tell me almost nothing. But yeah, put the old items on the agenda so we know, what's going on. I love it. And a unified front. If Supervisor Zlotnick is indeed fighting the good fight at the county level, that's great, but if we all unite behind him, we put together a letter with everyone's name on it, that has more oomph, and I tell you, if you guys can find out when that letter would be submitted to the county board, I will personally be there to do my shtick to them, which is, I'll get up for my 3 minutes and I'll pound and I'll make a scene and do whatever, but I think it'd be really nice to have a unified board make the statement, plus a few obnoxious residents who also will say, this is our community and we're not gonna let this happen, so I'm all for it, you know where to reach me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we have a couple people on with their hands up. I'm not sure who it is, but one of you Lakatas is up.
Hi, Tony Licata.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank the board for bringing up, talking about the airport. I really think you should stay on top of this because if you don't believe that they're going to expand this airport, something's wrong. For years, they couldn't move the butterflies. Now they want to move the butterflies. $5 million for a restaurant inside the airport. Think about it. They want to buy property around the airport. It's nothing to do about safety. It's about putting all the facts together for the next master plan. And now that Global Foundries, yeah, and corporate, Global Foundries now is going to put their corporate headquarters in here. So, that was just formed in my ear. But you have to stay on top of this airport issue, please. It's very serious. So I'm just telling you, this is what their plan is, if you believe it or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Tony, you're making us a believer.
And Tony. Okay, one more.
Dave Burton, 164 Paulson Scott. Councilman Froelich, I just want to thank you for your comments regarding the helicopter noise. This is truly starting to become a quality of life issue for a lot of the residents that live around the airport. It's been a hard battle to fight with everything else that's been happening and going on around the airport. It's really very, very refreshing to actually hear those comments from our board, and not only from our board, but from our residents that have also commented on that. I believe if we definitely all stand together that we can make a difference here and really, support our town and do what we need to do to have a good place to live here, good quality of life. So thank you, Councilman Froelich, and I can't agree more about your comments regarding the lost revenue. If that property was to be purchased by the county, we've lost enough as it is. We want, the county to continue, reaping the benefits of all these things while we're, each purchase that's made, we're losing something in the end. We might not see it right now, but as Mr. Licata said, down the road in the future, we've got three more years left on this master plan and another one drawn up. I can guarantee you, although you may not hear words of expansion and don't constantly say that this is not about expansion. It's absolutely true. There's grant assurances that force the county to, or don't force the county, but they become obligated to ensure that they buy a property around there. Perfect example of that, the Gateway House of Peace was going to be split. It was going to be split into 2 zones. One of them where they're going to allow the Gateway House of Peace to continue to exist on there, but they have to put in a request from the FAA to release themselves from obligations that they have right now, because they purchased that land with FAA money. And so now they're trying to back out of it by putting in a request to take it off so they can allow the Gateway House of Peace to continue operating there. That's why that parcel's being split up. The rest of the land, they're gonna classify that as an obstruction-free zone, meaning that it can never be developed.
1 minute, sir.
It can never be developed, so again, like Mr. Licata said, these are small steps, definitely, and it's a long-term process. It's just something that you have to keep on top of, and it's a long, arduous process. Nobody wants to do it, but you know, these little things, if we can prevent these little things from happening now, and it'll preserve us in the future. Again, thank you, Supervisor Slotnick, for your comments and paper and your stance on that, and again, Councilman Froelich, thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's see. Ray, we need your last name and your address, please.
It's Ray Otten, 16 Millbrook Avenue, Boston Spa, New York, representing the Community Emergency Corps. John, thank you for bringing up the project that we've been working on for over a year now, trying to get property up in the town of Milton, from the town across from the Rock City Falls Firehouse. We're trying to build a station there eventually. If you folks, anybody on the board would like to set up a meeting with everyone, I would be more than happy to attend at your convenience. We can discuss everything that's been looked at, everything that's been discussed. Nothing is not above board. I would be more than happy to, like I say, accommodate anybody else's needs and answer anybody else's questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Anyone else?
I had one more question. How's the electrical going in the court?
It's my understanding that Pritchard was there today to make the repairs.
Okay, take a long time, or what are we looking at, you know?
I would guess no more than a day, day and a half.
Okay.
Well, we don't know that he's done yet.
No, my understanding he was there
I
today.
think he got, well, there was court there today, so probably,
No.
if they weren't done, they probably.
No, court started at 4, so,
Yeah, there was court.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
court started at 4. I mean, if he was there early, he probably got a bunch of it done. As soon as it's done, we'll get it inspected and we'll know. Anything else? Okay, just a couple of notes from myself. The 2021 promotion's been going really well. The first 4 winners were chosen last week, and they were Jennifer Condonar. She won a $100 gift card to Dean's Florist here in Milton. Lori Reed won a $100 gift certificate to the Coffee Planet. Chris Bowcut won a $100 gift certificate to the Galway Rock Winery. And Megan Richardson won a $100 gift certificate to the Charlton Tavern. Next 4 drawings will be on Friday. That'll be another $400 in gift cards they're going to give out. Last week they had 85 entries. They haven't quite totaled up the numbers yet, but even at $20 a piece, that would be a good chunk of change. And this week they already have about 100 entries. So this thing is catching on, and Sharon wanted to know what businesses could be entered in this thing. It's any local business that's not a chain, family-owned. Like, well, Dean's Florist, they have 2 locations, but they're a small town, a small business. Any of your pizza places, and not the big chains. Anybody that's a kind of a one-off, or maybe here in another location. So any small town business that you have is eligible. You just go in, like we say, you go in, make your purchases, get your receipt. If it's more than $20.21, send it into the chamber website. They'll enter you, and every Friday they're drawing 4 cards. And at the end of this promotion, they're going to draw a card, and someone will get a $500 gift card. Last up on my notes is the Suburban Council All-Stars were handed out this week. The honorable mention was Taylor Russell. This is the girls softball team. The second team utility player was Haley Wright. Hope I said her first name right. Second team infielder was Livia Wiltsey. First team outfielder was Julie Russell. And the Suburban Council Player of the Year was Anna Gold. Anna has a brother who's playing for Boston College, and he's been Player of the Week a couple times for the ACC. So congratulations to those girls and the softball team. They had a good year. And if anybody doesn't have anything else, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Randy, can you pull the board, please?
Councilman Blaisdell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Carr.
Yes.
Councilman Froelich.
Yes.
Councilman Isakson.
Yes.
Supervisor Zawatnik.
Yes. Thank you everyone for coming. Good night. And the Lord God bless you.